All right, what do we got here? Thomas Massey. This is not America First, folks. He's correct. Oh my goodness, I'm saying Thomas Massey's correct about something. That's crazy. What do we got here? It's not politically correct to use the term regime change. Okay, like, what, is it woke to talk about fucking regime change? Like, what the fuck is this? This is, like, so strange. No, like, regime change is a very specific term that means something very specific. Like, Israel wants regime change in Iran because they want to basically do, like, I don't know, like, they just basically want to become the hegemon of the Middle East, pretty much, with, like, U.S. backing. But yeah, that's why they want it, which I guess benefits a bunch of other people, but you know. But if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, um, you know, maybe like Iran would have been great again if maybe there wasn't a lot of like interference by like Western powers, you know, British Petroleum, the CIA trying to putting in the Shah and stuff like that. Yeah, very very cool. Yeah, maybe like all this constant like interventionism and fucking with America with Iran is definitely making Iran a big problem. Oh yeah, that's probably true. Boy Meets Mini under Mossadegh. Yeah, possibly could have been a superpower, but you know he got deposed and was replaced with the fucking Shah in 1973. I think it was 1973, something like that. Yeah, let's topple another government. Classic America. Isn't this what patriotism is about? Living up to tradition. Oh, it was 1953. Right. The Islamic Revolution was 1973. Right. Where was I? Why wouldn't there be a regime change? I'm not gonna say that. Okay, listen. That's a little too close to the sun. I'm not saying that. Okay, fuck you, Trump. You're trying to bait me to get banned, you bastard. Fuck you. I'm not saying it. Very very cool. Yeah, dude. I think Trump's trying to advocate for regime change in Iran, guys. I don't know. It's a little sus, a little weird, little strange, little sussy. You know, sussy amogus. You know, spam the sussy. I don't know if I have sussy in chat. Yeah, spam the sussy. Fuck it. I probably have it. Nah, whatever. Yeah, a little weird. But Kyle, my friend, my compatriot, what do you have for me?
All right, y'all, I got some more major breaking news here for you. So Trump just validated that indeed what the U.S. is trying to do in Iran is regime change. He said the following.
Now, here's the thing. I heard that Trump actually said the exact opposite, but this post potentially contradicts that. That's a little weird. So, okay, listen. In the previous video where I was talking about Iran, and I was saying like based off of like the shit Tulsi Gabbard was saying, I offered up like basically 3 hypothetical scenarios. The Mad King schizo route where Trump just decides to bomb Iran anyways, which is the path that we are currently on. He's going to take the 2 weeks to try to suss it out politically and actually try to reach a deal, which was never going to happen. And what I thought was going to happen was the 2 weeks are going to go by, nothing will happen. This is the nothing ever happens bros route, and it's just like, oh, you know, this is the path that I thought was going to happen. He's going to let the 2 weeks go by, nothing's going to fucking happen. There's going to be no deal, but like Trump will somehow like claim victory for his cult or some shit. I don't know. That's what I thought was going to happen because again, I was basing it off of the analysis that there has been 6 previous talks and nothing was like resolved. So I was just like, nothing ever happens, bros. But like the Iranians and the Israelis are going to, well, keep bombing the fuck out of each other or some shit. Whatever. It's silly. The Hintuva's freaks' brains are broken too. I've seen them saying we need Iran nukes to annihilate Pakistan. Why would the Iranians want to nuke Pakistan? Oh, could it be because of like their treatment of like Baloch people as like a chance? Maybe. I know that there's like tensions between Iran and Pakistan for certain reasons, right? They like I think they like bullied out a bunch of yeah, they like I think like Pakistan basically like kicked out a bunch of refugees and they were forced to go into Iran, and a bunch also went to Afghanistan, and then the Taliban also doesn't like that. Sunni also yeah, Sunni Shia tensions. Got it. Iran is good with India minus the current ruling party. Gotcha. Okay. You know, it's like that area, you know, around Central Asia, like that's where I'm like more sort of like unfamiliar with. Okay, so it's a little weird. Yeah. South Asian nationalism, blah 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 blah. It's silly. Yeah, I don't see why the Iranians would want to nuke Pakistan to help with India winning the war against. I don't know. It's really fucking stupid. That's really about it. I just think it's very silly. Very silly, folks. Let me tell you, it's very silly, very goofy, very silly.
Following. It's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change?
You know, he's correct, right, folks? Let me tell you, he's pretty good at it. The slim shady of the left. He's very good. He understands.
And then he says, MEGA, which is make Iran great again. So this is, yet again, absolute verification that the real goal that the U.S. and Israel want in Iran is regime change. I warned you about this. It's the curse of being right all the time about everything. But I told you yesterday when they attacked their 3 major nuclear facilities that this is not the actual goal. This is just a smokescreen. They're just obfuscating with this. This is the cover story that they use. The cover story is they're about to get a nuke and we can't have that. They weren't.
Yeah, which is obvious bullshit, right? We all know that. Complete fucking nonsense. Like, yeah, they're gonna get the nuke, folks. Let me tell you, they're gonna get a nuke. Yeah, that's obvious fucking bullshit because it's the same shit that fucking dumbass Netanyahu has been claiming for about, 30 fucking years. I guess Trump is like the one fucking dumbass that's like following through with it and actually fucking believing the lies. You know, typical Donald Trump saying like, yeah, dude, like, totally, I listen, Israel firstest, but America first, let me tell you, folks, but Israel is firstest. We love Israel, folks, don't we?
About to get a nuke, and even if they were about to get a nuke, it wouldn't be a threat to us. They would only have it for deterrence against Western aggression. So what's happening here is he's taking the mask off. The cat's out of the bag now.
True.
The truth is out. The real goal is regime change in Iran. That's the real goal. So what's going to happen from here is Iran's going to retaliate. There's a number of things they can do in retaliation. One of those things is to attack U.S. bases in the region. That very well may happen.
That is probably going to happen.
Another thing is shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. The ball is already rolling.
Wait, did he just say they already shot the... We're going to get the Strait of Hormuz, obviously, but yeah.
Is shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. The ball is already rolling on that front, so I'll have a lot more to say about this tomorrow on the show. Definitely tune in. Subscribe below on Secular Talk. You're not going to want to miss it. We have a giant show with so many super important stories. I'm not going to get into all of it here, but the bottom line is Iran's going to retaliate, then the U.S., of course, is going to retaliate to the retaliation.
True.
But remember, the main question is who fucking started it? Who started all this? It was the U.S.
It was Israel. Israel was the one who started this. Oh yeah, like we'll get to the Strait of Hormuz soon enough. You know, like it's very funny. Yeah, I agree with you, Durandi. Yeah, I do think that maybe Netanyahu and Trump should just star in a gay porn video. I agree. You know, it's Pride Month. Listen, do a little sodomy, have a little fun with it. Fuck it, just show some passionate man love. You know, old man Yowie. We all know how much fucking Trump loves his old man Yowie with like tin pot fucking far right dictators and stuff. We can throw fucking Netanyahu in that shit, especially with all the dumbass shit that he's doing with the goddamn with all the fucking goddamn war council fucking bullshit. He's trying to be a dictator, so then, you know, he doesn't like go to court on his corruption charges because he's incredibly unpopular and stuff like that. Like, we all know. Also, it's obvious who the cuck is. It would be Trump. That's like the easiest fucking call of life, okay? It's always Trump. Always Trump. Easiest call of fucking life. But yeah, we all know like why Netanyahu's doing this. He wants to maintain the war cabinet for as long as possible. He wants forever wars because, again, He wants World War III so he can just like die in office and not go to fucking jail. Like we could talk about how like that's just like extremely petulant and pathetic, but honestly, I think it doesn't really get any more simple than that. There was the of course the vote in the Knesset that barely passed by 2 votes to maintain the government. That barely passed. The political coalition that Netanyahu has is extremely, extremely frail. Could collapse at any point in time. And if the election fucking happens, Netanyahu's ass is fucking grass. He's gonna fucking lose. But, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's, they just want the evangelicals do be wanting day fake rapture. Yeah, Netanyahu cucked Trump into a war against Iran. Pretty much.
U.S. Trump ripped up the original agreement with Iran in 2018. They were abiding by that agreement perfectly. And then now he turns around after the fact and says, why aren't you abiding by the agreement? Abiding by what agreement? You ripped it up. That gives them a green light to do whatever the fuck they want to do. Here's
the thing that, Kyle's not fucking mentioning all the time. This is not like, Trump has done this constantly, right? Where he basically, he'll make a dumbass deal or get rid of a particular dumbass deal and then just sort of be like, wait, hold on. Wait, why are we not like doing the deal and not making a deal or doing anything with any deals? It's like, bro, you're the one who keeps like either putting in deals, ending up not actually liking your own fucking deals, and then just like tearing up other deals because it doesn't have your fucking name on it, and then just not even abiding to any of the fucking goddamn deals that you even fucking put in place. Maybe you're just really bad at making deals. You're the common denominator, but Trump is such a fucking pathological narcissist. He's such a fucking egomaniac that he can't take blame for fucking anything because he's been born with a silver spoon in his mouth for his entire life. It's ridiculous.
And even given that, they weren't building nuclear weapons. They only had uranium enrichment to the level of power for their power grid and for scientific research. But here is Trump, yet again, validating, verifying exactly what I told you. I told you the ultimate goal is regime change. It's not just me saying it. Cy Hirsch also reported that the other day, that the green light had already been given, not just to attack Iran's nuclear facilities, but ultimately to take out the entire Iranian Revolutionary Guard, to take out the Supreme Leader, to take out the mullahs. He even reports that one of the long-term goals is destroy all the civil infrastructure in Tehran. Go after police stations, for example, is one of the things that he listed. So the truth is finally out there. He's being open, he's being honest about it. And by the way, all of the MAGA losers who were trying to cover their asses when they used to pretend they were anti-war and now they immediately flip and they're pro-war, what they were saying was, or at least what many of them were saying was,
dude, we all saw like Charlie Kirk fucking like sucking off like Donald Trump and that shit. Like, we love the conservative fucking populists being like completely full of shit and stuff like that. It's very, very cool. Personally, like, I'll be honest here, Randy. I don't think the dynamics are honestly the same as Iraq here. Like, the justification, the sort of like manufacturing of consent is the exact same as 2003. I don't think like anyone else wants anything to do with this. I think the only people who might join from like NATO with the US might be the British, but that's because they're like completely and utterly cucked to like they're like completely and utterly cucked to Israel and the United States. Keir Starmer is, but the sort of like the rest of the Western powers, they are not very gung ho about this one. I'll be honest. No one wants any shit to do with this. Like, fuck this. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Bush did disguise. At least Bush disguised it. Trump just goes head on into the bull's ass. Exactly. It's way too out there. It's too fucking blatant. Which means I'm pretty sure everyone else in the West are just like, you guys can sort that out. That's not our problem. Like, we don't even really like you guys all that much right now. So you guys can have fun with that. Fuck that. Like, we want nothing to do with that. Fuck that shit. Yeah, and obligatory Anglophobia, very, very important. They're British and and we love doing our war crimes. Yes, we do. Very nice. That's probably a dog shit fucking accent. I like doing the orc accent from like 40K, like, oi, you stupid git, or shit like that. I think orcs from 40K are very funny.
This isn't regime change. This is just like a quick strike in and out. It's actually
you're right.
defensive.
You're right,
it's not
Randy.
offensive, and and Trump was getting bad advice, but also this was like a major success, and clearly this is not like a long-term engagement. Clearly, like, he just acted decisively. This is peace through strength, and like, now we're good, bro. So, like,
dude, it's like that. Listen, Reagan and his fucking consequences, dude. This is literally what it fucking looks like. It's so fucking funny. It's the craziest fucking shit on the planet.
they had all this cope that was built up around it, but Trump comes out literally day one after the illegal and offensive bombing, and Trump admits this is actually about regime change.
We want to
I'm going to say it
change the
again, and you're going to hear me say this a lot in the coming days and coming weeks and coming months, but you have to impeach. This is not a question. This is not a debate. This is not up in the air. This is not open to interpretation.
Yeah, I think AOC has already called for articles of impeachment, and like people are supporting it, right? Like I know. Let me double check that. Let's see. AOC impeach. Right, she's called for articles of impeachment on Donald Trump. Because I mean, like, quite literally, like this is like as unconstitutional as it fucking gets. Like, third impeachment. I don't know if it's gonna like. The thing is, it's not. Will it pass the House even? Probably not. Like, Republicans have control of the House, but like. Yeah, the president's disastrous decision to bomb Iran without authorization. Actually, maybe it might even pass the House. Like, Marjorie Taylor Greene wants nothing to do with any of this stuff because she doesn't want war abroad. She wants civil war, like, unironically. But whatever. Sure, dude. It's really funny that I say that Marjorie Taylor Greene is technically the only, like, a principled MAGA sort of conservative because she, like, unironically, like, believes in the bullshit. It's fucking incredible that she's the only one that's consistent in any of this complete fucking nonsense because she's like very stupid and unironically believes in it. We live in a fucking wacky world, ladies and gentlemen, and those in between. Let's be honest here. But yeah, the president's disastrous decision to bomb Iran without authorization is a grave violation of the Constitution and congressional war powers. He has impulsively risked launching a war that may ensnare us for generations. She's cooking. It is absolutely and clearly grounds for impeachment. Now, of course, they have to put together the articles for impeachment. They're probably working on that. Who the fuck knows exactly 100% what's going on here? Yada, 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 yada. Hey, TikTok, it's time to probably try to fucking impeach the motherfucker. I'm so ready, honestly, for, like, all the, like, stupid, dumbass motherfucking, like, Trump supporters to be like, look at the dude at the Democrats. They're trying to impeach the president yet again. But, like, I don't know. Is this going to be fucking successful? We all know that, like, Tim Kaine drafted a bunch of legislation, which is bipartisan, funnily enough. Because it turns out there are some Republicans who are just like, yeah, we want nothing to fucking do with this. Like, fuck this shit. Like, honestly. Trying to, like, limit the war powers resolutions. Literally, like, Tim Kaine of all fucking people is saying, like, yeah, honestly, like, I know of the lessons of Iraq. It'd be really bad. I know the only Democrat that's going along with any of this shit is John Fetterman, but that's because he's, like, a dumbass ogre whose brain is, like, completely and utterly cooked, it seems, and it's just like, yeah, I would literally do anything for Israel. I am a simp to Israel. I love Israel, you know? I still wonder, like, what does Israel have on that man that he's become, like, such a ridiculous, like, caricature of, like, a simp to Israel? Like, what do they have on him? It's very strange. I mean, Israel did give him a golden pager. Epstein? Maybe it's an Epstein connection. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. It could be something silly. It could literally be fucking anything. But, like, we could just, like, meme about it to the sun. But, yeah. Yeah, even if it's not successful, it shows the low info morons that it's our side that is anti-war. Yeah, exactly. Like, the dumbass, like, listen, the pro-peace coalition, like, tweet sort of a thing. Like, we could, like, quibble about if, like, Kamala Harris would have gone along with this. I personally think that she probably would not have gone along with this because it's just, like, she probably knows about the legacy of Iraq. And more than likely would be like, no, we're not, like, fuck this. Like, this is a complete fucking crazy goddamn idea. But I don't know. Who the fuck knows, honestly? Like, we live in like a stupid, such a crazy, idiotic shit show of a time. I don't even know if Biden, but like maybe, honestly, maybe Biden would have fucking gone along with this because he's a complete like simp to Israel. But would Kamala Harris have gone along with this? I don't even know, dude. Like maybe. I personally want to think no, because she knows, broadly speaking, just how wildly unpopular politically this would be. But like, whatever. We live in the time of like the freakish like Mad King. Anything is possible. Get your fucking like little red pin boards out from like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and start doing like the stupid conspiracy board connections, because like anything can just fucking happen, right?
He flagrantly is violating the Constitution.
True.
Remember, only Congress can declare war. Only Congress can. This is a unilateral decision to bring the U.S. into war.
Thanks,
Obama.
Obama.
That is impeachment worthy.
Honestly, like quite literally, we all know why like the president is doing this shit now, or why the president sort of has like the fucking goddamn ability to do that. Fucking George Bush did it. Obama did nothing about it and just continued along with the wars. And then now we have Trump saying like, well, I could just like kind of do whatever the fuck I want, seemingly as the president. So fuck it. Thanks, Obama, for, I don't know, like not manufacturing consent. That's not correct to say here. Essentially like letting this whole fucking slide by. So then I don't know, some fucking moron like Trump can just be like, yeah, you know, as the president, I could just do whatever the hell I want. Damn the Constitution. I can just do whatever, folks. Let me tell you. I'll just, like, bomb shit randomly. I can just do it. Fuck it.
It is impeachment worthy. They'll come up with some bullshit story about, no, we're allowed to do this because it was defensive.
Sure, man.
Literally fucking no evidence for that whatsoever. Absolutely preposterous. And then they'll move the goalpost to, oh, no, this was covered under the authorization for use of military force from the early 2000s for the war on terror. Even though Iran had nothing to do with 9/11, Iran had nothing to do with the war on terror, right? So it's going to be utterly made up. Impeach, impeach, impeach. Democrats, get out there. I want to hear everybody screaming about this on the talk shows.
Yeah, I don't know. I personally, Kyle, like I don't know. Maybe Chuck Schumer might have to do. I'm gonna have to meet with the Baileys. I need the Baileys to tell me if we can need to impeach Donald Trump or not. In the Senate to get Democrats on board with impeachment articles. Because, like, let's be honest here. Chuck Schumer is fucking okay with this shit. Like, let's be honest here. Yeah, Chuck Schumer needs to have his, like, I don't know, fucking non-working balls to be, like, titillated more or some shit. I don't know. Something ridiculous like that in order to be able to go ahead with, like, the articles of impeachment within the Senate or whatever the hell, like, nonsense. Yeah, like Schumer's, like, wholeheartedly captured by Israel. He's okay with this war as well, like the Republicans, right? Like, you know, very, very cool. Very, very cool.
We need coordinated messaging from the top down. No more of this shit. He's a psychopath. He's a danger to the entire fucking world.
Real?
And he's about to destroy this country further and destroy the world and light it on fire, as he already started the process with the other day.
That's true. And real. And based. And poggers. Well, I mean, you know, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez taking a leadership role, position. She's showing a spine. We love when people show a fucking spine. Yada, yada, yada. Bloody, bloody, bloody. Very, very cool. What do we got here from Mr. Vance? The fucking, I don't know. I don't even know, like, is it like Pudgy Babyface Vance? Is that like the name of the meme? I don't know. What do we got from this fucking babyface over here? I empathize with Americans who are exhausted after 25 years of foreign entanglements in the Middle East. So why don't we do another one? Just go again. Very cool. Wrong Vance. Listen, this guy doesn't have a bolter, all right? I still don't know what, you know, JD and JD Vance means, but whatever. I understand the concern, but the difference is that back then we didn't have dumb presidents. Oh, we didn't have complete morons. Oh yeah, well, you know, listen, we were just listen, Durandi. We're just playing into the joke a little bit, you know. I just wanted to talk about bolters. I like 40K. 40K is pretty cool. Anywho, what does our little baby face man here have to say?
And the second thing is, Kristen, I certainly empathize with Americans who are exhausted after 25 years of foreign entanglements in the Middle East. I understand the concern, but the difference is that back then we had dumb presidents, and now we have a president who actually knows how to accomplish America's national security objectives.
Huh? Yeah, dude, this is really going to help accomplish America's national security objectives, dude. Yeah, this is one for one the exact same shit Bush said. Dude, history is a wild and wild funny thing. It doesn't often repeat, but history sure does love to rhyme, huh? Very, very funny. It's great. Yeah. Listen, pro-peace coalition here, J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, couldn't have the fucking dumbass shrill, I don't know, the black Indian woman be leading people into wars or some shit. Gotta have us based trad conservatives, you know, weirdo, potentially pedophile rapist Donald Trump and babyface over here, who's like a freak amalgamation or some shit that, you know, lead the war to Iran. Very, very cool. We love that. We love our pro-peace coalition, folks, don't we? What is let's continue with I don't know, dumbass babyface here.
So this is not going to be some long drawn out thing. We've got in, we've done the job of setting their nuclear program back. We're going to now work to permanently dismantle that nuclear program over the coming years, and that is what the president has set out to do.
Time out. So, here's the problem with that sort of like potential mission objective that's being outlined here by J.D. Vance. Isn't that quite literally the same thing that Bush did in order to justify the invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan? This is quite literally the exact same fucking shit. Not one for one, obviously. It's different, you know. You know, a little different, but it's instead of Iraq and Afghanistan, it's now Iran, which is like way worse. But you know what I mean? You know, we do a little bit of trolling, Very cool, very good, very fantastic. But this is quite literally the same shit. Like,
we do a little trolling.
Yeah.
It's called we do a little trolling.
Yeah, we do a little trolling, folks. Quite literally, like, Bush's position was like, we're gonna go in, we're gonna go after the terrorists. Okay, they went in, they went after the terrorists, they probably killed like most of the terrorists or something. It's like, okay, well now we have to stay in order to make sure that the terrorists don't come back up. Well, yeah, what do we mean by they can't get another fucking nuclear program? Like, what is that? What do you mean by that? Like, are you gonna do an occupation of the country? You kind of have to do that if you want to make sure they don't get any more nukes or anything, J.D. Vance. Like, are you justifying invasion? I don't know. It seems a little sussy. Seems a little sussy. But that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting here. Like, clear objective? Not really. They're going to sort of manufacture consent and say like, yeah, what do you mean? Yeah, we have to go in, make sure they can't get a nuclear program, and then, well, we're just gonna stay in there until they just never have a nuclear program again. It's just like, dude, like, okay, nice fucking meme. It is very, very good. BB started shit with Iran to prop up his polls, and the dumb Don is a yes man. Well, see, here's the thing. It's not to prop up his polls. I don't think it's Benjamin Netanyahu propping up his polls. I don't think I agree with that. Benjamin Netanyahu is doing this in order to maintain the war cabinet as long as possible, because based off of the fact that well, I mean, yeah, part of it is to distract from Gaza. I don't disagree with that. I think the main most important factor for as to why Benjamin Netanyahu is doing this is because of the corruption charges that are swirling around him, right? Like, when the election was happening in 2022, he was on trial. Like, he was about to get convicted for, well, corruption charges that were being brought in by the Israeli Supreme Court. Found him for, like, well, being goddamn corrupt, right? he ended up winning the election. He got into power, and so he was able to stave off that, well, court date. Court date? Sure, whatever. When the political coalition was starting to fray more and more and more, because his political coalition was always relatively unstable, October 7th happened, and now, well, Benjamin Netanyahu basically has the perfect excuse to make sure he can stay permanently in power until, well, he is probably dead or something, right? Because that's what he really, really wants. He wants to stay in power for as long as possible, so, well, he dies and he doesn't have to deal with any of those political corruption charges. You know. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Vlad and Bibi would be great friends in the cells next to each other. That is true. That is true. So we know what like Benjamin Netanyahu's objective in this is generally speaking, based off of what that Knesset vote that barely passed with like 2 votes, which would have caused a collapse of the Knesset, which would have triggered an election, which Benjamin Netanyahu more than likely would have lost because he's very, very unpopular right now. Like people in Israel don't like him because they're war weary. Let's be quite honest here. Like Israel's like bombing like 5 different places at once now. Like the Palestinians, the Houthis, Lebanon, Syria, now the Iranians, they're bombing them. Like, bro, you know, like even for the Israelis, it's like, dude, you can only go so far until we just get fucking tired of this shit. Like, it's enough. We have enough. Like, stop. No more. No more of this. But, you know, why don't we go into another particular aspect of this? But we have Jack Posobiec, this Nazi. He's a Nazi. Talk about the Strait of Hormuz. So, fun fact about the Strait of Hormuz. This is what it is. Half of it is, well, administered and controlled by Iran. The other part of it is, well, you know, it's governed by the UAE and a tiny bit of Oman. I have no idea why that tiny enclave is there by Oman. Whatever. A lot of oil traffic tends to go in here because think about all the oil exporters that exist here. We got Bahrain, we got Qatar, we got Kuwait. Lots of oil comes through the Strait of Hormuz. I think it's about 20% of the world's supplies. It's already been closed. It's been closed. It's been confirmed that it's closed. Like, or it's about to be closed. It's either about to be closed or it will definitely be fucking closed. Let me double check that, actually. I'm curious. We're going to double check that. I'm going to make sure. Strait of Hormuz. Because they're definitely talking about it. Dissuade China from closing the Strait of Hormuz. Yes, it's confirmed. Iranian parliament has just voted to close the Strait of Hormuz. Yep, it's confirmed. It happened like what 14 fucking hours ago. Woof. Very, very cool. Damn, no one is going anywhere near the fucking Strait of Hormuz. Yep, that thing's definitely been closed. Damn. So, yeah. We'll see what happens when the market's open. Hey, remember when like Trump constantly was like soying out all the time about I've lowered oil prices. I've done so much lowering of oil prices. Look at me. Yeah, dude. Good luck with that. Or those fucking oil prices. Very, very cool. Yeah, you know, I hope there's a bunch of people holding oil stocks and stuff like that. Yeah, you know, we've done the meme. Yeah. So, Strait of Hormuz, about 20% of global oil prices. A lot of that is also sort of, well, you know, it's definitely going to raise oil prices because, again, what Jack Posobiec doesn't understand here, so what? Oil from the Strait of Hormuz supplies 5% of America's total oil supply and 50% of China's total oil supply. Iran will be crippling their ally China by closing off the Strait of Hormuz. That is the last thing the Iranians would want right now. Okay. Jack, I know that you're not very intelligent, but America buys a lot of oil through multinational conglomerates and corporations. They are the ones who have, you know, control of the oil, and they are the ones who typically sell that to different countries. It's going to raise up oil prices for everybody because everybody has to buy, well, everybody has to fucking buy oil from all of the fucking corporations. The states have to buy them from fucking the multinational corporations. That's how it works. So, it's gonna go up, whether you fucking like it or not, Jack Posobiec. So, we also have, like, Donald Trump trying to have another old man Yowie call with Xi Jinping saying, like, everyone start spamming the top G's. I want to see some top G's, top G's, top G's. All right? Get your Xi Jinpings out. He's trying to Trump. We got another fucking old man Yowie call here from our boy saying like, please, President Xi, can you stop Iran from closing the Strait of Hormuz? Please don't do it, folks. Please, please. I don't want this to happen. Yeah, dude. Like it's gonna be really great. Very, very cool. Very cool. Well, yeah. Very fact, oil price increase is a slowdown on the overall economy and a windfall for oil producers. Pretty much, yeah. Listen. We may not be that cooked because we have a lot of oil. Okay, we got this. Very, very cool. Yeah. They're eating the dogs and the cats. We know the meme. So it's really, really funny how this man is like so desperate to get Xi Jinping's help, even though he like started a trade war. I wonder what like the sort of like happenings with like a China trade deal. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a really, really good look for the United States in terms of negotiations of trade with China. I think it's going to do a great, great job. But this is all the complete nonsense that's currently going on. The Strait of Hormuz, currently what's happening with Iran. How Trump wants to do regime change. We got our boy, our favorite alcoholic little man here. We got Pete Hegseth. Very, very cool. What does he have to say? He's holding a Pentagon briefing. Obviously, probably talking about the bombing from the B-2s. Listen, okay. Military fucking tech simpery here. Okay, I will simp a little bit because I really am interested in like military tech and stuff like that. I think the B-2 looks pretty cool. I'm simping again. Look at Daho being a proponent of American empire. Very cringe. I know I'm hella cringe, but I think the B-2 is a pretty fucking fascinating piece of technology. It's unfortunate that it has to be used in order as just purely as a weapon of war and stuff. It's like the Marge Simpson bit where I just look at it and I'm just like, I just think it's neat. That's really about it. Yeah. How can you praise B2 and not AK-47? That's true. Yeah. Like, listen, I used to have like a bunch of models of like planes and fucking like Star Wars ships, and pretty sure they're still at my house, back at home, and where I live with my parents and shit like that. But yeah, I also had like a little Lego plane that I built. I enjoyed it. But Pete, our favorite alcoholic, what's he got to say?
Well, thank you for joining us this morning. Last night, on President Trump's orders, U.S. Central Command conducted a precision strike in the middle of the night against 3 nuclear facilities in Iran, Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan, in order to destroy or severely degrade Iran's nuclear program. And as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs will demonstrate, it was an incredible and overwhelming success. The order we received from our commander-in-chief was focused, it was powerful, and it was clear. We devastated the Iranian nuclear program. But it's worth noting the operation did not target Iranian troops or the Iranian people. For the entirety of his time in office, President Trump has consistently stated for over 10 years that Iran must not get a nuclear weapon. Full stop. Thanks.
All right, so there was already a deal in place. Listen, as Kyle Klinsky himself said, but I will also repeat the exact same thing because I've also been constantly saying the same thing. There was a funny little thing called the JCPOA, aka the Iran deal, put in by Obama in 2015 that was doing that exactly. And there was 11 separate inspections that was done by the IAEA, confirming that Iran was following the deal to the letter. They were following it completely, but guess what happened? Benjamin Netanyahu did one of his like dumbass, I don't know, like idiot presentations at like the UN in 2018. Was it 2018? Might not have been 2018. At some point in time, it was either 2017 or 2018. Trump listened to that, was just like, well, if it's Israel saying it, they have to be correct because it's Israel that's saying it. Because, like, again, Benjamin Netanyahu and also Donald Trump are like best friends. They're like this. They have like, I don't know. They like to dock. They love to do their old man yowie. You know how it is, right? Yeah. Iran lied speech where basically like quite literally in that speech, that dumbass Netanyahu, sprinkled in a little bit of Persian racism, saying like they're wrapping the nuclear material inside of Persian rugs. I'm just like, bro, what the fuck is this? Like, yeah, man, totally. That's what they're totally fucking doing. They're wrapping fissile material in fucking rugs. Yeah, sure, man. Very, very cool. And Trump, I guess, unironically believed that because he's stupid or racist or both. Let's be honest here. And was just like, yeah, I totally believe Israel. And then he decided to leave the fucking goddamn, well, he decided to leave the deal because of that. So, that's really cool.
To President Trump's bold and visionary leadership and his commitment to peace through strength, Iran's nuclear ambitions have been obliterated.
Fucking God, Reagan and his consequences will haunt us for so fucking long, dude. It's fucking crazy.
Presidents have dreamed of delivering the final blow to Iran's nuclear program, and none could until President Trump. The operation President Trump planned was bold and it was brilliant, showing the world that American deterrence is back.
Yeah, that's true,
When
Alex.
this president speaks, the world should listen. And the U.S. military, we can back it up. The most powerful military the world has ever known. No other country on planet Earth could have conducted the operation that the chairman is going to outline this morning. Not even close.
Sorry!
Just like Soleimani found out in the first term, Iran found out when POTUS says 60 days that he seeks peace and negotiation, he means 60 days of peace and negotiation. Otherwise...
Okay, let's talk about what this fucking goddamn peace negotiation exactly means. Like, the negotiation of, like, the rounds of nuclear talks are basically, if I could, like, boil them down to this, it was just like, hey, can you, like, stop enriching nuclear material? It's like, okay, yeah, we can. Like, what are you going to give us? Oh, nothing. Okay, so we're going to keep enriching nuclear material because you're offering us nothing and you're just telling us to stop. Like, yep. It's like, okay, that's not really a deal. That's not how deals work. So why would we stop enriching nuclear material? Like, you're not offering us anything, like even like sanctions relief or anything. You're just saying like, just can you stop uwu? And it's just like, no, we're not going to stop uwu. And yeah, we're just going to keep going, I guess, whatever. Well, I mean, let's be easy here. Gata naraha. He's evil in the sense that, well, there's a lot of stupid people throughout history who are incredibly fucking evil. He's evil because he's like a stupid dumb fuck, like unironic, like Crusader Deus Vult LARPer who has like a demented, idiotic like interpretation of like what history is. And since he is like a demented, idiotic cipher, it's very easy to just direct him like a little drone to just do like whatever you want because, he is a simp to power. He's a submissive, but like, yeah, basically. Like Stephen Miller, I don't even know if he's like a mastermind, I'll be honest. Like, Stephen Miller is just like a very shrill, like sad, pathetic little man, right? He's just like a pathetic little stupid moron, right? Like, because I don't think he's like I don't think like Stephen Miller in particular is like a mastermind. I don't think he's like a really big genius. If you see him like talking about particular issues, like you can easily like pick apart like the stuff he's saying. I just think he's like a dude who has power and he's just evil. I don't know, like maybe like Stephen Miller is just really sad that Elon is cucking his wife, his non-white wife. Again, like, hey, Stephen Miller, like what happened to, well, what happened to caring about white genocide? I thought we cared about like producing white children to make sure that they the white birth rate goes. Yeah, what's going on? Yeah. He wields a lot of power. He's like a complete simp to power, which is why he's allowed to wield a lot of power by Trump, kind of a deal. Like if he wasn't that big of a simp, then like, or although to be honest, like in order to be able to wield that power, Like, he is a simp to make sure he can get that, you know, kind of a deal. We've all made the meme about how, like, Stephen Miller's, like, the shadow president sometimes. Like, we all know, like, the treatment of the protesters because of, like, the LA protests and other sort of, like, ICE detention theater nonsense. People getting, like, black bag constantly. That's all, like, Stephen Miller's pet project kind of a deal. We know the meme. We know the meme.
That nuclear program, that nuclear capability will not exist. He meant it. This is not the previous administration. The President Trump said no nukes. He seeks peace, and Iran should take that path. He sent out a truth last night saying this: any retaliation by Iran against the United States of America will be met with force far greater than what was witnessed tonight.
I mean, they're going, like, bro, they're going to retaliate because you just did a hit on them for no reason. Of course they're going to retaliate, you fucking moron. Like, because originally, like, they said that they could be fucking targeted. That was a threat, more than obviously, because, like, Israel's been fucking attacking them. But, like, they weren't going to strike any, like, U.S. assets without, like, telling them or something. And also, from what I understand, the Trump administration did contact the Iranians and let them know, like, this is what they're going to do. And it's just going to be, like, not boots on the ground. And more than likely, it's just going to be, like, an air campaign. Yeah, is this going to accomplish their goal? I don't know. Like, who the fuck knows? Like, it's going to be, like, an ever-moving goalpost in order to continue to further escalate and, like, justify consent for fucking another Middle Eastern war at the behest of Benjamin Netanyahu staying in power until he dies or some shit. Like, we you know, we've seen this play out before. We know the meme. Blah 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 blah. Like this isn't going to accomplish anything. Like, the Iranians are going to retaliate more than likely in, like, U.S. assets and bases in the fucking area, and then I don't know. There's probably going to be, like, a larger fucking air campaign, probably launched from, like, Diego Garcia or some shit, or maybe from, like, the aircraft carriers in the area. That's what's going to fucking happen. It's just going to be, like, probably a lot of, like, bombing of just, like, random fucking bullshit, or if I were to take a guess. So, yeah, dude, this is definitely going to accomplish in getting peace. Coordinating with the Israelis, helping the Israelis with their initial attack on Iran, and, well, the Iranians being like, we're going to hit back now, and it escalating further and further and further to now the U.S. also hitting Iran. It is definitely going to help cool down temperatures and, make it such that the Iranians want to come to the table in order to get, like, some kind of a deal going. It's fucking stupid.
Signed, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Iran would be smart to heed those words. He said it before, and he means it. I want to give recognition to the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the Joint Staff, General Eric Kurilla at CENTCOM, who did a phenomenal job, he and his staff, all of CENTCOM. Policy, across the board, this was a joint effort, and across the Pentagon effort. I want to recognize the pilots who flew those bombers, who flew those fighters, who flew those refuelers, warriors. I want to recognize the sailors on those destroyers, in those subs, on those carriers, warriors, all of them. I want to recognize our soldiers doing air defense, base defense, QRF, warriors, all of them. Every American involved in this operation performed flawlessly. And I want to
see, this is why I call them the fucking soy, right? Look at this, like, fucking soy larp bullshit. Like, what do these fucking do? Like, these guys do? Probably sit on their ships, chill there, and be like, yeah, I guess we're just here bombing Iran, I guess, guys. Cool, great, fantastic. Listen, at least they got their steak and lobster, right? We know the meme, right?
I want to give recognition to our allies in Israel as well. This is a plan that took months and weeks of positioning and preparation so that we could be ready when the President of the United States called. It took a great deal of precision.
Dude, this is like the stupid soy larp bullshit. Like, we all know, like, the dumbass conservatives soying out constantly about how there was, like, no leaks. This was, like, masterfully performed, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, dude, is, like, Pete Hegseth, like, a 5-year-old or something? Why are you fucking saying this, right? Like, this is the stupidest fucking shit on the planet. Are you saying this as, like, a way to cope about that Leak Hegseth had those dumbass, like, signal chats and stuff like that? Yeah, well, yeah, it is, like, a thing where it's just, like, he is a complete fucking, idiotic fucking cipher and shit like that. but there's also like the Kenny Klippenstein sort of argument saying like it might be worse if there's like a retired general who's also be in that position, because it kind of erodes the idea that it should be civilian control of the military as well. I'm like partial to that argument. I understand what he means by that. So he's like, he is a civilian, but he's like a complete fucking like dumbass idiot or something. Oh yeah, Caroline Leavitt is she is evil. I agree. She's got that rhetoric pinned down to a T. Very, very evil. Okay. Funniest thing about like Caroline Leavitt, what she got like married to like a super old man, like, and had premarital sex with that super old man or some shit from like what I understand in the rumor mill. Hey, it's fucking crazy, dude.
It involved misdirection
the most
and
Christian
the
marriage
highest
story
of operational security. Our B-2s went in and out of downtown Tehran, of these nuclear sites, in and out and back without the world knowing at all. In that way, it was historic. A strike that included the longest B-2 Spirit bomber mission since 2001 and the first operational employment of the MOP, a massive ordnance penetrator. The mission demonstrated to the world the level of joint and allied integration that speak to the strength of our alliance and our joint forces. As President Trump has stated, the United States does not seek war, but let me be clear. We will act swiftly.
Guys, we don't seek war. We're just going to start randomly bombing the shit out of people. But we're not seeking war, guys. Totally. Even though, like, Tulsi Gabbard herself said, like, yeah, dude, it's been confirmed since, like, 2003 that, like, the Iranian, like, nuclear weapons program just has not been in use at all. But, yeah, sure. Yeah, we're doing this. We're just bombing them peacefully, guys. Totally.
And decisively when our people, our partners, or our interests are threatened. Iran should listen to the President of the United States and know that he means it, every word. I want to give congratulations to our Commander-in-Chief. It was an honor to watch him lead last night and throughout, and to our great American warriors on this successful operation. God bless our troops. God bless America.
Who wants to make a bet that Trump, like, literally did nothing? He was just like, oh, you're gonna bomb the shit out of them? Oh, yeah, sure. Did Israel say we should bomb them? Sure, like, we can bomb them, whatever. Who, Tulsi Gabbard? Well, it's very cool how it talks about, what, bro was posting on Truth Social the whole time. Yeah, he didn't have shit to do with the fucking goddamn. He probably just gave the stamp of approval and that's, like, all he did or something. And I find it very funny how, like, Tulsi Gabbard loves to, like, LARP and pretend that she's anti-war, but she, like, did the whole Colin Powell bit of trying to manufacture consent for bombing for Iran. And, like, she didn't even have like, a goofy little fucking vial or anything. She just basically did nothing. But, I guess we're here now.
And we give glory to God for his providence and continue to ask for his protection.
I remember the
mooch. Chairman, for specifics.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thanks for recognizing all of our folks out there doing our nation's work, and nice to see everybody on this early Sunday morning. Last night, on the President's orders, U.S. Central Command, under the command of General Eric Kurilla, executed Operation Midnight Hammer, a deliberate and precise strike against 3 Iranian nuclear facilities. This was a complex and high-risk mission carried out with exceptional skill and discipline by our joint force. I want to thank every service member, planner, operator that made this mission possible. Their actions reflect the highest standards of the United States Armed Forces. This operation was designed to severely degrade Iran's nuclear weapons infrastructure. It was planned and executed across multiple domains and theaters with coordination that reflects our ability to project power globally with speed and precision at the time and place of our nation's choosing. This was a highly classified mission with very few people in Washington knowing the timing or nature of this plan. I'll refer you to the graphic on the side as I walk you through some of the operational details.
Guys, you know what happened? Pete Hegseth didn't use signal. Whoa. So that's why it had way better operational security. Someone probably got to him and said, like, Pete, for the love of God, please do not use fucking signal to talk about this shit. And that was it.
At midnight Friday into Saturday morning, a large B-2 strike package comprised of bombers launched from the continental United States. As part of a plan to maintain tactical surprise, part of the package proceeded to the west and into the Pacific as a decoy, a deception effort known only to an extremely small number of planners and key leaders here in Washington and in Tampa. The main strike package, comprised of 7 B-2 Spirit bombers, each with 2 crew members, proceeded quietly to the east with minimal communications. Throughout the 18-hour flight into the target area, the aircraft completed multiple in-flight refuelings. Once over land, the B-2s linked up with escort and support aircraft in a complex, tightly timed...
I mean, we know about, like, all the fucking goddamn, motherfuckers, you know. We know all about, like, the dumbass, like, refueling jets that were being, like, deployed in fucking Europe. Like, people saw that, right? I think there was even, like, some people who saw, like, the B-2's blips even fucking leave on, like, those OS int sort of open source maps of the B-2s actually flying off, saying, like, why are those B-2s flying? That's a little sus. That's a little weird. What's going on here? That's a little weird. And then, you know, the bombing fucking happened.
Maneuver requiring exact synchronization across multiple platforms in a narrow piece of airspace, all done with minimal communications. This type of integration is exactly what our joint force does better than anyone else in the world. At approximately 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time last night, and just prior to the strike package entering Iran, a U.S. submarine in the Central Command Area of Responsibility launched more than 24 Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles against key surface infrastructure targets at Esfahan. As the Operation Midnight Hammer strike package entered Iranian airspace...
So, it wasn't only just an air campaign, right? They also launched missiles from the sea. Interesting. So, even committing... like naval assets to this as well. I thought this was just going to be like an air campaign. Lies from the Trump administration? Say it ain't so.
The U.S. employed several deception tactics, including decoys, as the 4th and 5th generation aircraft pushed out in front of...
Okay, I don't understand why we're soying out over fucking decoys. Like, everybody has used... This is like... I don't know, like, basic tenets of, like, military strategy. I guess you can, like, quibble about, like, the sort of coordination that's being done. Not coordination, like, minimalist communication that's being, like, done. But we know that Israel has essentially secured, like, air control over Iran. Unless, like, Iran has, like, secret, like, stockpiles of, like, I don't know, fucking random-ass Tomcats or... other, like, Russian fighters to be able to shoot down the B-2s or some shit, which is why the escort was still there. Yeah, like, Israel has secured air superiority over, like, Tehran at the very... We know it was over Tehran for certain. If it's the rest of the country, I don't know exactly. Like, let's just operate under the assumption that they have air superiority. So, like, obviously it's going to be, like, way easier. Obviously, they're still going to provide escorts just in case, right? And... more than likely, it was probably the Israelis who helped out with that. Because I have, like, without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, the Israelis probably helped out in this. Let's keep it $1.50. The Israelis definitely have helped out in this. And they confirmed by saying, like, yeah, our allies also help with this. We know what they mean by allies. It was the Israelis, right?
Of the strike package at high altitude and high speed, sweeping in front of the package for enemy fighters and surface-to-air missile threats. The strike package was supported by U.S. Strategic Command, U.S. Transportation Command, U.S. Cyber Command, U.S. Space Command, U.S. Space Force, and U.S. European Command. As the strike package approached Fordo and Natanz, the U.S. protection package employed high-speed suppression weapons to ensure safe passage of the strike package, with fighter assets employing preemptive suppressing fires against any potential Iranian surface-to-air threats. We are currently...
Okay, so I'm not, like, 100%, like, read up on or understanding of, like, I don't know, air doctrine. Isn't this, like, kind of, like, pretty standard fucking shit? Like, yeah, you provide, like, suppressive fucking fire. This is, like, standard military doctrine, even. Like, you provide suppressive fire in order to create an open corridor for the more important assets in order to be able to get in on the target, to take up the target. Yeah, it's fucking, like, soy. This is the most soy shit on the fucking planet. Like, this isn't, like, anything incredible. This is basic fucking I play fucking strategy games, okay? I've done the same shit. Whoa, I do, like, diversionary attacks, like, harassment with, like, I don't know, drops or something. And while I move my main force forward while my opponent is dealing with that shit. Like what do you mean? This is the... It's just soy. It's fucking soy, dude. Yeah, welcome to World War III. This is all just to make new movies and video games about this later. Caught in Activision and licking their lips. True. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe instead of, like, saying that the highway of hell was caused by the Russians, maybe they'll say the bombing happened because of terrorist groups or some shit. I don't know.
Unaware of any shots fired at the U.S. strike package on the way in. At approximately 6:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2:10 a.m. Iran time, the lead B-2 dropped 2 GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator weapons on the first of several aim points at Fordo. As the president stated last night, the remaining bombers then hit their targets as well, with a total of 14 MOPs dropped against 2 nuclear target areas.
Jesus
All
Christ.
3 Iranian nuclear infrastructure.
You know, guys, I really hope that I really hope that there isn't any radiological consequences. I believe I am on 1.5 times speed.
Targets were struck between 6:40 p.m. and 7:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, that's about 2:10 in the morning local time in Iran, with the Tomahawk missiles being the last to strike at Esfahan to ensure we retain the element of surprise throughout the operation. Following weapons release, the Midnight Hammer strike package exited Iranian airspace, and the package began its return home. We are unaware of any shots fired at the package on the way out. Iran's fighters did not fly, and it appears that Iran's surface-to-air missile systems did not see us.
Isn't that okay? Listen, this is why I'm saying this is like so soy, dude. Israel's already secured air superiority over the fucking country, and there's been like videos by like OSINT accounts on like Twitter and shit talking about like Iranian surface-to-air missile like assets getting bombed and shit by a bunch of Israeli jets. Like duh. I don't know. I feel like this is like forehead. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Look at how easy it was for us to be able to get in. It's like, unless there's the Iranians quickly set up some other assets or something. I don't fucking know. Silly.
Throughout the mission, we retained the element of surprise.
Also, there was some reporting that said Trump communicated with the Iranians that they were going to do this. Crazy? I don't know.
In total, U.S. forces employed approximately 75 precision-guided weapons during this operation. This included, as the president stated last night, 14 30,000-pound GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrators, marking the first ever operational use of this weapon. I know that battle damage is of great interest.
Dude, we love Trump dropping the Moab. Now he's dropping MOPs and stuff. Yo, epic, dude.
Damage will take some time, but initial battle damage assessments indicate that all 3 sites sustained extremely severe damage and destruction. More than 125 U.S. aircraft participated in this mission, including B-2 stealth bombers, multiple flights of 4th and 5th generation fighters, dozens and dozens of air refueling tankers, a guided missile submarine, and a full array of intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance aircraft, as well as hundreds of maintenance and operational professionals. As the Secretary said, this was the largest B-2 operational strike in U.S. history and the second longest B-2 mission ever flown, exceeded only by those in the days following 9/11. Well prior to the strike, General Kurilla elevated force protection measures across the region, especially in Iraq, Syria, and the Gulf. Our forces remain on high alert and are fully postured to respond to any Iranian retaliation or proxy attacks, which would be an incredibly poor choice. We will defend ourselves. The safety of our service members.
Yeah, dude, we're going to defend ourselves by, being inherently provocacious, bombing the shit out of nuclear sites in Iran. And then we're going to totally defend ourselves against retaliation from all these people that we fucking pissed off. If they try to retaliate against us, we're totally defending ourselves. If silly, stupid.
And civilians remains our highest priority. This mission demonstrates the unmatched reach, coordination, and capability of the United States military. In just a matter of weeks, this went from strategic planning to global execution. This operation underscores the unmatched capabilities and global reach of the United States military. As the president clearly said last night, no other military in the world could have done this. I join the president and the secretary in being incredibly proud.
Guys, I wonder why no other military in the world could have done this. Maybe because they don't spend as much money on the military as in comparison to the U.S. I'm just saying.
Out of the air crews, naval forces, cyber operators, planners, and support teams, and commanders who made this mission possible. It is their skill, discipline, and teamwork that makes this operation possible. I am particularly proud of our discipline related to operational security, something that was of great concern to the President, the Secretary, General Kurilla, and me, and we will continue to focus on this.
Guys,
as we stand here this morning, many assets are still airborne, and we have hundreds deployed. I ask that we keep our warfighters on their way home and our deployed service member in our thoughts. Our joint force remains ready to defend the United States, our troops, and our interests in the region. Thank you very much.
Yeah, dude, we're defending the fucking region. Very, very cool. Yeah, he's so proud about the fact that it's like, Dad, look, It didn't leak. Look at me. Give me little patties on the head. Yay! Or some shit like that, you know?
We will take a few questions, Phil.
Questions?
So, is regime change off the table, Mr. Secretary? And to the chairman, you said the battle damage assessment is still ongoing, but do you believe that some nuclear capability in Iran remains?
This mission was not and has not been about regime change. The president authorized.
Dude, that's so fucking funny, man. Oh my god, bro. Oh god. Yeah, sure, man. Not about regime change. Totally.
Authorized a precision operation to neutralize the threats to our national interests posed by the Iranian nuclear program and the collective self-defense of our troops and our ally Israel.
Thanks for your question. I think BDA is still pending, and it would be way too early for me to comment on what may or may not still be there. But thanks for the question.
Green. No, behind you.
Excuse me, Mr. Secretary, can you tell me, was there a particular moment when the president decided to pull the trigger on this operation, where he said, now, rather than being, something in the holster, now we're going to pull the trigger on it?
I would just
Is that
say,
holding
having
blood
the
feast?
opportunity to witness his leadership, he was fully committed to the peace process. Wanted a
Wait,
negotiation.
what the fuck was the question again? I was making fun of the fact that it's holding blood feast.
Secretary, can you tell me, was there a particular moment when the president decided to pull the trigger on this operation, where he said, now, rather than being, something in the holster, now we're going to pull the trigger on it?
I would just say, having the opportunity to witness his leadership, he was fully committed to the peace process. Wanted a negotiated outcome. Gave Iran every single opportunity, and unfortunately was met by stonewalling, which is why he gave them plenty of time.
Okay, do we need to mention again what the tenets of the deal that Trump basically was negotiating? The literal fucking deal during the rounds of fucking talks was basically like, okay, Iran, we want you to stop enriching nuclear material. Can you do that? It's like, okay, yeah, sure, we can do that. What are you gonna give us back? What? Oh, you wanted us to give you something back? Sorry, I don't know what that means. Bye. And Iran's just sitting there being like, so we're not accepting that deal, right? Because they're just it's not a deal. There's no deal. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. So why should we accept this? Seems kind of silly.
To continue to come to the table and give up enrichment, give up the nuclear program. But there was I won't say the particular moment, there was certainly a moment in time where he realized that it had to be a certain action taken in order to minimize the threat to us and our troops.
Sure, man.
Yeah.
General, you say that General Kurilla increased force protection in Iraq, Syria, and Gulf in those areas. Were they given any advance warning the attacks were coming? And also, Mr. Secretary, when were congressional leaders notified? How long before the attacks took place?
So to your first question, the risk has clearly been rising over the last few weeks in the region. Based on that
leaders.
and not a particular awareness of this operation, we've made smart decisions to minimize the risk to U.S. forces in the region.
They were given no advance warning?
No, sir.
And congressional...
They were notified after the planes were safely out. Well, we complied with the notification.
Oh, so you told the congressional leaders and representatives after the fucking planes left. So they're just admitting to the illegality of these fucking strikes. Very, very cool. Because again, it's supposed to be Congress that fucking approves shit like this, not the fucking it's so fucking stupid. Now you can make the argument. It's like, oh yeah, wait, what do you mean? There has to be the president sometimes has to be decisive in times of crisis and stuff like this. But here's the problem. This isn't a time of fucking crisis. This is some bullshit that's been manufactured by fucking Israel. This is a crisis manufactured by the Israelis that they dragged in Trump to do this fucking dumbass fucking bombing. There's no actual fucking crisis that's going on here. Again, do I need to fucking conservatives? I'm jingling the keys. I need to get your attention here. This is some fucking bullshit that Netanyahu has been claiming for the past fucking 30 years. It's just yeah, dude, they're gonna have a nuke in a week, a month, years. Now it's a month. That's a week again. And he's been saying that for the past 30 years. This is completely manufactured fucking bullshit. It's nonsense to say this. It's stupid. So I don't know. I guess we're just straight up admitting to the illegality of it all. That's cool, I guess.
Requirements of the War Powers Act.
Attacks, they were notified.
They were immediately thereafter. Yes.
Thank you, Secretary. Two quick questions. Do you believe you completely destroyed Iranian nuclear program? And how about Iranian ballistic missiles? Your ally Israel always saying that is biggest threat. And second question is very important. What will be your next step if Iran or militias under Iranian influence on the region attack U.S. interests or allies in the region?
And you can chime in on this too, Mr. Chairman. The battle damage assessment is ongoing, but our initial assessment, as the chairman said, is that all of our precision munitions struck where we wanted them to strike and had the desired effect, which means especially in Fordo, which was the primary target here, we believe we achieved destruction of capabilities there. Ultimately, wherever it may be, whether it's in Iraq or Syria or bases in the Gulf, as the president said, it would be, as the chairman said, it would be a very bad idea for Iran or its proxies to attempt to attack American forces. Yes.
Thank you.
Again, like, whoa, random unprovoked attack on Iran? The proxies sure aren't going to do anything about this. Also, I thought you said that the proxies were significantly defeated, that they're like basically no longer existent. Now they're going to like retaliate against the like U.S. forces in the area. Like, which is it, right?
Mr. Secretary, regarding retaliations, Iran and North Korea are cooperating on nuclear and missile development. Do you think there is a possibility that Iran, North Korea, and other forces, such as China, will join forces to retaliate against the United States?
Well, unfortunately, because of the policies under the previous administration, we drove those countries together, and ultimately that creates a challenging environment. For this particular operation, the focus is on Iran. And
that's not a particular thing that happened under Biden. What the fuck are you talking about? No, like, I don't know. BRICS has kind of existed for how long? When was BRICS established? I'm curious. When was BRICS formed? BRICS was formed in 2009. They've had this fucking cooperation going on for at least 15 years at this point. This wasn't a particular thing that happened with Joe Biden or something. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this was already a thing that was happening, broadly speaking, because they want to form like a sort of coalition against the U.S. because it's within their geopolitical interests. Crazy?
Iranian nuclear capabilities. That's our focus here, is to not just say that they can't have, but President Trump has said from over 20 years, frankly, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And ultimately, he decided this is the moment, given their stonewalling, when direct military action had to be taken to prevent that from happening.
Yes. Yeah, for over 20 years, Iran has been developing a nuclear weapon, even though his own DNI said, like... So, Iran is not developing a nuclear weapon. They canceled their weapons program, like, over 20 years ago. Yeah, sure, man. Totally. Like, it's the goofiest fucking shit on the planet. Like, whoa, crazy. The idiot in chief is constantly contradicting himself all the fucking time. It's fucking stupid, dude.
Thank you very much. General Kane, I understand OPSEC, I respect OPSEC. Can you say at all what security procedures are being taken to protect U.S. troops in Iraq and elsewhere in the Middle East? And Secretary Hegseth, as a global war on terrorism veteran, what do you say to veterans who may be concerned the U.S. is getting into another open-ended war in the Middle East over weapons of mass destruction?
Thanks, sir, for the question. I won't comment on what force protection measures are being taken in the region. What I will say is we're being proactive and not reactive, and being very thoughtful about ensuring that we do all that we can to protect our forces out there.
We're going to bomb more people.
I would just say, as the president has directed and made clear, this is most certainly not open-ended. It doesn't mean it limits our ability to respond. We will respond if necessary. The most powerful military in the world is postured and prepared to defend our people. But with the president...
Yeah, we're defending our people by just going along with like Israel's fucking complete nonsense war that they're trying to start to justify for Benjamin Netanyahu to be able to stay in power for as long as possible so he doesn't go to court. Like, yeah, dude, totally. But this is pure, guys, it's purely defensive. This is all defensive in nature. Yeah, totally.
It gave us, as I said, was a focused, powerful, and clear mission on the destruction of Iranian nuclear capabilities. Those were the targets. That's what was struck. That's what was overwhelming. That's what was overwhelming. That's what the Iranian regime needs to understand. As the president put out last night, he wants peace. There needs to be a negotiated settlement here. We ultimately demonstrated that Iran cannot have a nuclear capability. That is a very clear mission set on this operation.
I mean, I've already mentioned at this point, JCPOA was already in place and was taking care of that problem. President fucking tore it up. Like, listen, I've talked about this fucking idea before, but like, all the things that, like, President Trump loves to fucking goddamn complain about, like, oh, the migrants that are coming in. Why are there a bunch of migrants that are coming in? under temporary protected status. You know, the 2019 attempted coup of fucking Venezuela. I wonder why there's a bunch of Venezuelans that are coming up through Central America into the United States. It couldn't be anything in particular. The October 7th attack. I wonder why that's happened. It couldn't be a little funny thing called the Abrahamic Accords, right? Nothing. That basically put Hamas in a fucking goddamn corner, politically speaking, and making it such that the only recourse that they have is to lash out and try to do something in order to not get completely squeezed out and, I don't know, genocided by the Israelis. You know. So, just some food for thought. But what do you mean I'm reaping what I'm sowing? I don't understand. Like, that's crazy. It's silly, dude. I guess he doesn't understand the basic tenets of that saying. Like, you reap what you sow. Quite literally. Nah.
Yes, hold on. Yes, right there.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Question for the Secretary and the Chairman. How was this strike coordinated with the Israelis on a strategic level, militarily, and on a tactical level? Was there any direct Israeli military participation in this operation?
Well, I would say certainly Israel had an incredible military success, especially at the beginning and ongoing, in degrading Iranian capabilities, in degrading Iranian launchers, MRBMs. It's been incredible to watch what our ally Israel has been able to do. And there certainly have been conversations. I mean, General Kurilla at CENTCOM has worked closely in the defense of Israel for many years. And part of this operation was the defense of Israel and the ongoing defense of Israel. But as it pertains to this strike, this was U.S. operated, U.S. led.
Who would have thought?
We took advantage of some of the preparatory work that's been done over the past week and a half in terms of axis of approach. I won't get into the particulars, but as the Secretary said, it was a U.S. strike. We made sure we were not in the same piece of airspace and sky. Aside from that, that was the extent of it.
We'll take a couple more. Yeah, right there.
A question to the Secretary first. Are you concerned whatsoever now about the reaction from U.S. allies given the strike, particularly those in the Gulf? And to the Chairman, if I may, I understand you don't want to speak to specific assets and force protection measures, but do you anticipate at least having to bring in any further assets from other theaters to aid in force protection over the coming days?
We certainly understand the challenges of allies in the region, and we have been respectful and working in collaboration with them as it pertains to basing and sensitivities there. Ultimately, they've got a lot of assets and people in those locations also where American troops are co-located. So that's a consideration of ours. We've been in close consultation with them, and we appreciate the support that we have got.
Thanks for the question on sort of the global picture. And as you know, that's one of my jobs is to look globally at the entire range of challenges. We are always carefully considering our force posture around the world and then offering options to the Secretary and to the President. I won't comment on any future things, but the American people should know that we carefully consider those moves around the world and try to modulate as needed our force structure in the region.
Absolutely. Yeah, right here.
Thank you. What communications are being sent to the Iranians right now, and is there any possibility of diplomacy now or in the coming days?
I can only confirm that there are both public and private messages being directly delivered to the Iranians in multiple channels, giving them every opportunity to come to the table. They understand precisely what the American position is, precisely what steps they can take to allow for peace, and we hope they do so.
Yeah, man, saying that you can't have a nuclear weapon is a very, very clear, determining objective that the Iranians are going to listen. I don't know, like, what else am I supposed to... I've already fucking outlined the sort of like problem with this. It's a completely idiotic, like, nebulous fucking goal and objective state in order to help justify a forever war. Iraq and Afghanistan are the clear templates for this. It's happened again, and whoa, I wonder why people are not in particular support of what's going on in Iran, especially. I can't think of anything in particular.
Yes.
The president may not want an open-ended conflict. The Iranians may disagree. Are you prepared for a protracted war?
Well, anything can happen in conflict, we acknowledge that, but the scope of this was intentionally limited. That's the message that we're sending. With the capabilities of the American military, nearly unlimited. So Iran, in that sense, has a choice.
Dude, I love how it's constant, both sides are classic fucking fascist bullshit, right? Like, yeah, this is like pretty limited, but like honestly, our potential is like totally unlimited. We can just like at the drop of a hat do a ground invasion of Iran at this point. Like, you know, if they decide to fuck with us too much or some shit, it's like, yeah, man, totally, because it's gonna be really fucking effective, guys. Sure.
But we've made it very clear to them, this is nuclear sites, this is nuclear capabilities, this is the line that the president set, and we set that back. Now is the time to come forward for peace. But I think one of the takeaways from this as well is the unprecedented level of ongoing cooperation. I can't speak highly enough of the chairman and his staff and General Kurilla in CENTCOM, what they've done to look around the corner, to pre-position, to understand how an operation like this comes together. the scope and scale of what occurred last night would take the breath away of almost any American if you had an opportunity to watch it in real time. And I think Tehran is certainly calculating the reality that planes flew from the middle of America in Missouri overnight, completely undetected over 3 of their most highly sensitive sites, and we were able to destroy nuclear capabilities, and our boys in those bombers are on their way home right now. We believe that'll have a clear psychological impact on how they view the future, and we certainly hope they take the path of negotiated peace. But I could not be more proud.
Yeah, totally, dude. Like, now we're going to do the stupid jerk-off bit again. Yeah, man. Whoa. Like, look at how good we are at, like, doing our, like, little operational security bit. Yeah. Like, whoa. Crazy. Who would have thought that the Iranians with no air superiority, no assets, and have been getting constantly attacked by the Israelis at this point for what? About a week and a half. Had significantly degraded capabilities and were not as well able to defend against this. Oh, whoa. What a shock.
Of how this building operated, of the precision, the sensitivity, and the professionalism of the troops involved in this effort. I will take one more. We'll take one more question. Yes, right there.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Concerning the justification for these strikes, in March, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence released their threat assessment.
Bro, who the fuck is this
concluding,
zoomer?
quote, Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Khomeini has not authorized the nuclear programs he suspended in 2003, unquote. So what new intelligence does the U.S. have since then that the Iranians have changed their position on nuclear weapons? And does this new intelligence come from U.S. sources and methods, or are we getting this information from other countries?
Well, I would just simply say that the president's made it very clear. He's looked at all of this, all of the intelligence, all of the information, and come to the conclusion that the Iranian nuclear program is a threat, and was willing to take this precision operation to neutralize that threat in order to advance American national interests, reduce the Iranian nuclear program, and obviously collective self-defense of ourselves and our allies. So he looked at all of it, understood the nature of the threat, and took bold action I think the American people would expect in a commander-in-chief. That's all we've got. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Mr. Chairman.
Cool. Holden Blood Feast. Holden Blood Feast has finally, he has finally gotten what he has wanted for all along, and has, become a one with the Earth. He has gotten his final wish: war with Iran. Should be fairly obvious what this is all about. Again, it's all for Benjamin Netanyahu to maintain his own power in the war cabinet because he doesn't want to deal with corruption charges. And I guess for Donald Trump, now this is all about fucking regime change, getting into another quagmire in the fucking Middle East because, crazy. I have to make sure that I distract people from my dog shit agenda. So, we're in the Middle East, everyone. The protests are not going really well for me, to be honest. So, we're just gonna war with Iran. Let's do war with Iran. So much for, of course, the based Heckin' pro-peace coalition, as expected from my hecking wholesome Republican Party. I don't know, like, at this point, it's just like, will it deteriorate further? Will some random bullshit happen? Who the fuck knows what's exactly going to happen at this point? I guess we just have to wait and see if, like, American boots on the ground are going to go at this point. Because, again, a lot of the goals that have been, the apparatchiks that are trying to defend this have been constantly saying is, yeah, dude, this is, like, totally going to be limited, but, like, we are being, like, really, really broad and open-ended for as to what our objectives are here. We totally don't want to justify, like, another, like, 20-year stint in the Middle East, guys. Yeah, totally. And, again, like, here's the fucking thing about why, like, the sort of, I guess, like, Iran was, like, becoming, like, getting more powerful and, like, was gaining more in strength. Because, broadly speaking, the military establishment was talking about wanting to move away from Iran and wanting to focus way more on China. Or not Iran, but the Middle East in general, right? It's just like, yeah, we've been there as a complete quagmire. China's, like, way more of a threat because of this, so we want to shift our focus to the Chinese in particular, right? That's, like, the whole meme. But, I guess, like, conservatives want to, like, do, like, listen, George Bush did a great job with it, why don't we do it again? Both Bushes did a great job with it in Desert Storm 1 and 2, so how about we just do it again for old time's sake? We've done the meme at this point, how this is just, like, a complete repeat of 2003 all over again. George Bush is very, very proud of what's going on, so, at this point, like, we just have to wait and see if this escalates further. Based off of some of the communications, this is being limited to, I think, an air campaign at the moment. Who knows at this point what this complete freak Donald Trump, the Mad King, could do at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden he just decided to do a ground invasion, saying like, actually, this is like a people's war against Iran, and it's going to be really hecking wholesome and based in poggers, guys. Let me tell you, we're doing a war with Iran, folks, which I know is very popular, and everyone's going to be totally for it. Yeah, man, totally. Like, we'll see what happens with the closing of the Strait of Hormuz, you know, with like oil prices and stuff. We'll see how like Trump decides to turn himself into a pretzel in order to come up with excuses, saying like, wait, no, the prices totally aren't going up, guys. Yeah, no, not, of course not. Yeah. And see if he like tries to like bully OPEC into, I don't know, putting out like more barrels of oil or some shit. Yeah, totally. Because you're going to be able to bully OPEC into, I don't know, being able to compensate for about 20% of the global supply of like oil, to make sure that Americans' prices at the gas pump is not going to go too high. I mean, it's silly, it's ridiculous. Like, they're just doing this at the behest of Benjamin Netanyahu being able to stay for longer in power because, you know, he's an incredibly corrupt asshole who wants to start World War III instead of having his date in court. That's really all there is to say about this, to be quite honest.